The sun is out even here in England, and that can only mean one thing apart from beer gardens. The Aliexpress summer sale is here. I make a couple of these videos every year for the biggest sales that Aliexpress offer, and I'll give you 10 of the watches that I think are stunning deals or you need to take a look at. This one starts 11 PM Sunday night. I'll be covering everything from the more premium brands of the market right down to the bargain basement, so there's something here for everyone. I've linked each of these watches in the order that they are mentioned down in the description, and whilst we're on that topic, make sure you use as many discount codes and as many coins that you possibly can in order to get the best price. Now, I know a lot of the American viewers across the pond have been put off AliExpress recently thanks to the Orange Man's tariffs, but there is good news. A lot of stores are now offering tariff-free purchases, so you guys don't have to feel left out. My name is Jason, I'm your watch guy today. Let's have a look at them. We are starting this summer sale list with the kings of the AliExpress watch market. I've been completely taken by this one since the release, and I think the sale period is the perfect time for it to be picked up. The JIANZHAN dial is absolutely fantastic, and honestly I think the colour variants throughout this range really make it a stunning summer gather watch. If I was picking one up, it'd definitely be a 39mm, but if you want a different size, they also offer in 36 and 42. With the level of finishing that St. Martin provide their pieces, this one will certainly look the part on the wrist. I've always said that their quality of finishing is around the entry-level Swiss range, and that is a comment that I stick by today. Running the Miyota 9015 movement, that is a high beat movement that is definitely a step up on the NH35 filled market, and it also allows them to keep this around the 10mm thick range. The striking dial textures and colours are obviously the draw to this piece, but St. Martin have certainly backed it up with quality specifications. It comes in with 100 meters of water resistance, a sapphire crystal, and again, I know I've already mentioned it, but that finishing is quality. You can have all of that for as little as £233 in the sale, or £266 if you want a bracelet. My God, we have waited a while for a solid homage to the JLC Reverso. Specht Sohne have finally given us that, and I actually have one in for a review, but I'm going to give you a quick highlight sheet right now so you can make the purchase in the sale if you want to. I personally think the price is brilliant for what you get. Obviously it has that reverse case feature, which was predominantly for polo players to protect the display of their watch. Now, I won't be playing polo anytime soon. I am not a Tory, but I do really appreciate the feature. It's even better when you consider in this sale you can pick it up for £56. I think it's an absolute steal for anyone that enjoys this style but can't afford that JLC pricing, which keeps climbing and climbing and climbing. It's definitely one of the smaller size pieces. It's 24mm across. That's certainly that tank dress style range. If you're used to bigger watches, maybe this one isn't for you, but if you really want that type of style, this is the way to go. It's even packed with a Swiss movement. Yes, it's quartz, but it is the Ronda 751 Swiss quartz movement. And as well as that, it has a sapphire crystal. What more can you really want for £56? The band isn't the best, but it certainly does the job. And for such an obscure homage, I think that this is a brilliant offer. I've got to say, this has been one of the watches that I've been most excited to review. For context, when I first started out, the Seagull Ocean series was probably the most serious competitor to anything that the Japanese were offering at the time on the dive market. That being said, it never seemed to get any love amongst the reviewers, and I just can't understand it. The specifications are brilliant. Seagull actually has heritage in the market, whether you like them being Chinese or not. And as well as that, the watch looks fantastic. So why does it not get more love on the Western market? Well, I have one in to answer that question for you and myself, but I've been so impressed by it, I've decided to involve it in this list. That way you can get a deal on it even if I haven't released the review yet. Now, this isn't a part of the ultra budget market. This one comes in just below £400 in the sale, which is actually a quite nice discount to the retail price of it. The thing about this piece, and this is in my opinion, it definitely rivals or beats anything that Seiko has at that price point. I think if this had a Seiko logo on it, it's probably playing around £600 to £700. Above that, we have a sapphire crystal, a sapphire bezel insert, another aluminium and hardlex, and a high beat ST2130 movement. Along with all of that, it gives a really solid dive presence. It's a big dive watch. It's got 44mm in diameter, but it still wears really nice thanks to the curvature of the lugs. As I say, I've really enjoyed having one in. I've been wearing it in for a couple of weeks now. My review will be out next week. Would this list really be complete if I didn't mention Pagani Design? No, it would not. The one that has caught my eye this summer is their homage to the Vacheron Constantin 222. Personally, in the Holy Trinity, Vacheron are my kings. But on a reviewer's salary, it is very unlikely that I will ever be able to afford one. That's why I really do love a good homage or a piece inspired by their iconic models. In my opinion, this one does a lot of things right. It may be a quartz VJ21 movement, but that gives Pagani the ability to really keep this as a very thin watch. It comes in around 7mm thick, definitely falling in that under the cuff type of range for pretty much anyone. So the ideal cross between a sports and a dress piece in my opinion. The textured dials are a really nice touch and they are covered by a sapphire crystal. One thing I will say is I wish that they left sapphire off the dial. Now the gold tone pieces are definitely a little bit too much for me and my style, but maybe it's something that you would enjoy. Personally, I'd be picking it up with a black dial in the stainless steel. And those variants are fantastic when you consider the price of them in the sale. £56. Bargain. It makes this style very accessible to people in the budget world. They've even gone as far to upgrade this bracelet with half-size links so you can get a better fit to it. It's definitely one of their more solid pieces that they've released recently. Please take sapphire off the dial, guys. I haven't featured much of WM lately, and that's because every time I look at their store, they seem to have homaged another Christopher Ward. There is one that has caught my eye though, and that's their GMT with exotic dial variants. Available with a lapis lazuli dial or a blue sandstone dial, this one is very nice to look at. I really like the mixture of the extravagance to that dial material and the simplicity of the rest of the watch with that stainless steel bezel effect and the simplicity of the casing itself. I think a GMT is probably something that everyone should consider having in their collection. Definitely one of the more useful complications on the market. And with the emergence of the NH34 movement that you see in this piece, it has become much more affordable to have that watch in your collection now. And it's much more reliable considering how much we actually know about the NH series of movements. It's packing a sapphire crystal, 100 meters of water resistance and a display case back that shows off that pretty basic looking NH movement. But I know that a lot of people love to have that display case back to see the mechanics of the watch, so not on me to judge. At the price of £113 in the sale, I think this is a pretty solid deal, especially when you consider the more exotic dial options that are on offer here. It's not often that you see a lapis lazuli dial anywhere on Aliexpress, is it? Personally, I think they've done a really good job. Now, going off my Instagram feed, this next piece is something that has caught a lot of people's eyes. This is Baltany's answer to one of Omega's most loved vintage models, the Paipan. As a full-blown Omega fanboy, you obviously already know that I love this style. The dial is fantastic. It comes in a choice of either stainless steel effect with a white dial or a black and gilt tone with a gold tone casing. Definitely sticking to the more classic looks of this piece. It's packing a high beat Miyota 9039 movement, something that I stand by being one of the best affordable movements available right now. It also allows a thin profile to the casing. This one comes in at 10mm thick with that domed sapphire crystal. There really isn't much not to love about this piece in my opinion. The shoulders to those lugs, the stunning dial, the specifications on offer, the dome to the sapphire that distorts the dial slightly. This is a brilliant deal at £250. I know that Baltany aren't often in that price category, but you do have to consider the amount of work that has gone into this piece being developed, as well as the more premium movement that they are using here. This isn't just a parts bin, throw it together job. And it brings us a homage to one of the absolute icons of the vintage watch market. I love the Paipan, but I also love the fact that Baltany have given us a much more affordable alternative to it and a much more modern option. Watchdives have certainly become one of the brands to watch over the last 12 months, and you know I love a good homage to a Speedmaster. This is the WD1863. It's available in multiple different dial variants, both stunning and quite questionable. But the one that has caught my eye is their homage to the racing dial. With those orange tones and more intricate minute track, I absolutely adore it. It's something that brings you back to the actual inception of the Speedmaster, that racing heritage. And I know that Watchdives are not Amiga, but let's be honest here, neither are Swatch, and you're still buying them. It's packing the reliable VK63 movement. They've gone without the date window in this variant. It has a dome sapphire crystal, fully stainless steel casing, and a really nice clasp on this one. You can have all of that for £105. Getting back to the clasp, that's something that you never see any other brand on the market do. They kind of just take one off the shelf and go, yep, that'll do. But they've actually put thought into it. I kind of like that. I think that's the type of thing that really does justify them sitting slightly above their competitors on the market with their pricing. But I'd also argue that they offer better quality. If you're not a fan of the racing dial, it is also available with the first Amiga in space option, which is definitely a fan favorite. It's also available with some summary options, which maybe you'd like, but I think are hideous. It's a solid watch, a very solid price, and it's still about half the price of a bloody moon swatch. You know I love chronographs, so let's have another one. This is the Addiesdive AD2095, and this one is definitely more of a classic pilot's chronograph, at least in the styling. But that being said, it does come with some really nice summary dial options. Do you see the theme here? The VK64 movement is again a very solid option in this piece, and it allows for a 6 o'clock date window. Now there is a slight drawback. You will not be getting a bracelet with this watch, and it does have a K1 mineral crystal, but it is domed, so it looks good. Now, Addiesdive definitely sit in that spot of the market that I used to reserve for Pagani Design. The brand that bring you stunning specifications for a really cheap price and a solid overall purchase. Whereas Pagani Design kind of dropped off a little bit, Addiesdive have stayed the course and they keep releasing solid options for you. And better than that, this one comes in at £56. I think that's a bargain. The yellow tone dial with the sky blue accents would definitely be my choice amongst the three. But if you want something a little bit more classic, that black dial will suit you beautifully. And if you wanted the in-between type of look, the blue dial definitely fills that spot. Not too eccentric, not too plain. Honestly, it's rare that Addiesdive ever miss on a release, and they certainly haven't here. Budget price range, solid specifications, good looking piece. That's all we ask for. This is exactly what a jump hour watch should be. I'm a big fan of jump hour watches, and the Aliexpress market has an absolute plethora of budget options for us. Sugess are definitely one of the companies on the market that offer us much more quality than the price may suggest. And their latest jump hour release is an absolute stunner in my opinion. It has a bluestone dial which either imitates or is aventurine, and I love that they've matched the hour wheel to the dial colour. It gives it that Starry Night type of effect. Something that I saw Christopher Ward carry off beautifully in their moon phase piece, and at a much lower price this gives me that same type of essence. It's almost like you are looking at a Starry Night, and that's exactly what this aventurine dial should be. Coming in at £111, it's a fantastic deal. The aesthetics are fantastic, the specifications are absolutely solid, even if it does come with an ST17 movement. It is a Chinese movement, yes, but it is what we'd expect at this type of price range. I mean, we wouldn't go out and pay over $1,000 for it, would we? I will also note that this is a hardlex crystal, so it's a little bit of a step down on that sapphire quality that we usually rarely want. For me, this is definitely one that's about the aesthetics of the piece, and for £111, I have no complaints. I have a little bit of a thing for Thorn watches. They're often in a vintage aesthetic, they're really well spec'd, and they come in at a fantastic budget pricing. That's exactly what this T109 is. It's a vintage style diver in a titanium casing with a sandblasted effect and a fantastic bezel. I mean, it's like nothing else I've seen on the market. The way that they use the negative space is really massively highlighting to the 20-minute counter. I love a bit of difference, you know? As well as that, they've carried in the matte effect throughout that bezel insert, and that really plays in well with the casing, whilst also making the actual minute counter on that right-hand side very intricate. I think it plays the best of both worlds there. It's packed with a PT5000 movement, which is a clone of an ETA, and it has 200 meters of water resistance, not to mention the Omani crest on the dial. I don't know what that's about, but if it was on a Rolex, you pay thousands of pounds more for it. One thing that I really do love about this watch is the angles to the casing. You know that I love a diver with angled lugs. It's just, it hits the spot for Jason. Now this does come in much bigger than your average piece. It is 45 millimeters in diameter, but let's be honest, I've avoided big watches throughout this entire list, so you've got 2 of them in here. We needed a little bit more of a dynamic across the range. Now this one isn't included in the summer sale, but they do have a discount code listed just below the pricing. You can get £20 off when you spend over £139. This one's £140. It brings it down to £120, which I think, beautiful deal. Go get yourself one. Thanks for watching today, guys. I really appreciate it. Let me know what you have spotted on the market this month. Let me know what you are picking up in the sale, or, you know, just how's your day been? Whatever you want, just comment it below. I love hearing from you. If you want more watch content, make sure you subscribe below and follow me on TikTok and Instagram under the exact same name. And if you do that, I will see you in the next one.